Welcome to Speak Arizona, the podcast for professionals ready to elevate their communication and leadership skills. Whether you're speaking to a crowd or leading a team, you'll get practical tips, expert insights, and inspiring stories. Join us as we dive into the craft of powerful communication and authentic leadership. Speak Arizona is powered by District 3 Toastmasters. Subscribe and take the next step to becoming the speaker and leader you want to be. Welcome to Speak Arizona, a podcast dedicated to empowering you to find your voice. Hi, I'm your host, Rupesh Parbhoo. I help experts upgrade from being the smartest person in the room to the most influential, one conversation at a time. Some people walk into a room and instantly light it up. Others wait for the right moment to join in. Today, we're diving into how introverts can grow deep, meaningful roots and connections, and create networks without feeling fake and turn their strengths into genuine influence. Joining me today is Rachel Perez, owner and creative director of Composion. Rachel, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited. This was a long time coming. Rachel, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I'm a brand identity designer. I run a one-person design studio called Composion, where I specialize in branding, logo design, and website design for service-based businesses in the human and animal health and wellness industry. This includes people like physicians, veterinarians, private practice owners, mental health providers, fitness studio owners, holistic wellness business owners, and more. My passion is really helping those mission-driven professionals connect with the right audience for them so that more people in the world can know what they're doing and they can make a bigger impact. I'm also an introvert who has struggled to connect with people throughout my life, and I've learned a lot of things the hard way, and so I think it could be helpful to share some things that I've learned with other introverts so they can have the same tools that I've learned over the years.
Nice. I love it. And I would categorize myself as like 50-50. I can be very extroverted, and then some days I just want to be inside on a rainy day with a pillow. What are you working on that you are just falling in love with these days?
I'm currently building a brand for a group of trauma therapists and a new website for them, so that's really exciting. They do a lot of really important work helping people, so I love helping them refresh their identity and get seen by the right people.
Nice. Love it. Okay, let's dive in. So my first question for you is, for all of the people out there listening, can you tell us a little bit more about how you define introversion and extroversion, or what are some of the differences?
So an introvert is defined as someone who naturally directs their attention inward first to their thoughts and ideas before expressing them externally. And it's the opposite of an extrovert who tends to speak first and internalize after. And I'm not saying either of these is better or worse. They're just different. And they each have unique strengths and weaknesses, I think.
Right. And what are some big misconceptions, especially you as this powerful self-proclaimed introvert? What are some misconceptions that you want people to know? I think you just mentioned one, that you can still be as equally effective in the work environment. What are some others?
Sometimes I think introverts people think that they are uninterested in something because they're not as openly talkative about it. I think sometimes we just get stuck in our own heads, and especially if you're in a group of extroverts, it's hard to find the right time to interject yourself. So I think the most common misconception is that we're not interested, when really we probably are.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What are some superpowers that you've experienced in your life coming out of becoming or realizing or just being an introvert?
Introverts, from my experience and perspective, tend to be great listeners, more observant and aware, and also more independent. We're perfectly happy being on our own. We don't need a group of people to have fun.
What are some of the things you do for fun?
Hang out with my cats, read, I started doing improv classes as a way to like push myself outside of my comfort zone and get better at just talking the first thing that comes to my mind. So that's an unexpected hobby that I've picked up over the years.
That is amazing. And as a relatively extroverted person, I couldn't imagine doing improv. I would need to really work myself up. What are some of the things you've learned doing improv?
So something that you're not supposed to do in improv is talk about just the stuff and the things. Like you want to make genuine connections with your characters, talk about how you feel about them versus, I'm washing a dish and there's no feeling or emotion behind it. It's more about the connection between the people.
Okay, nice. Does this feel a little like improv?
It does.
Okay, good. I love it. All right. What are some of you mentioned deep listening and thoughtfulness and kind of processing internally. How do those things, those skills or those strengths relate to networking or communication?
Yeah. So when you're listening to someone thoughtfully and intentionally, it's easier to come up with unique questions that relate to that topic or that person's experience in life, and you can ask them some really deep questions, and it makes people really feel heard and seen and feel like you are interested in them when you're asking those kind of questions. So I think that's really helpful.
Yes, and I have an example from Rachel. We had in our Toastmasters meeting, we were making some changes to an evaluation sheet, and I am very aggressive, maybe. I like change.
I would not call you aggressive.
Well, I like being aggressively transformative in organizations. I like to push people out of their comfort zone in a nice way, in a way that's supportive and not just random. But I remember we had this meeting where we were talking about this change, and this club is over 40 years old. And
shout out to Dobson Ranch Toastmasters.
Yes. And Rachel, do you remember this table topics thing that you said? And what did you do to, when Rachel did what she did, she totally shifted the tone in the room. So I want you to talk a little bit more about that, because I think that connects to this strength of introversion.
I think you're talking about the moment when I was discussing the changes to the new evaluation form, and I held up the old evaluation form and I said, let's take a moment and thank the old evaluation form for all that it's done for us. We wouldn't be at the moment we are now if we hadn't had this form get us so far. So it's important to look back and reflect on what things have gotten you to where you are now. And it's not like we're just creating something because we want to, but we're growing.
Right. And to me, it was such a lesson learned and a powerful moment. The whole the attitude and body language and just energy in the room shifted when you did that. And it's not something I would ever think to do, because I'm always maybe externally, I'm not super aggressive, but internally I'm plowing ahead and I want to make the change and let's go. And having you on our team, and initially you were on the team for your design and your technical skill set. And in that moment when you did that, I was like, dang, this is a huge other skill set that you brought to that team to make this change super impactful and effective. And oh, by the way, I made another change without having that experience with Rachel, and it was 10 times more rocky. And so I really had those two experiences side by side around the same amount of time, and having your skill set of that listening and observing and internalizing while I don't do that as much was hugely impactful. So thank you for that.
Thanks for saying that.
Okay, so we're talking about networking today. We're talking about different skills. And so I couldn't think of more polar opposite things of networking and someone who's introverted. So from your perspective, can you tell me, why is networking important, or why has it been important for you in your work or your life?
Knowing people is super powerful. Unless you've got a crystal ball and you know how to use it, you don't know what the future holds. and you don't know what you're going to need or what kind of support you could use from different people in the future. And so the more people that you have in your network, the better your life will be one way or another. And also, everyone that you know knows someone. So say you need to change a tire, for example. Maybe you don't know anyone who knows how to change a tire, but you definitely know someone who knows who knows how to change a tire. So it's just easier for you to get ahead, I think, the more people that you have connections to.
I agree. And I've done a lot of research, although that's a strong word, on recently finding a new job, and all the data, or a lot of data suggests that your loose connections, you're like you're saying, someone who knows someone, that's where you're going to find the role. And I hear so many people interviewing for jobs and applying to different jobs online and just not getting anywhere. And it's always that human, not necessarily a strong human connection, just a human connection that brings everything together, whether in this case you're looking for a job, but it could be a million different things.
That's so true.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about how you've developed your philosophy or approach, or what works for you when you are in a networking situation?
My general philosophy on networking these days is to not have an agenda, to focus on making genuine connections, and to be kind to everyone. So it's kind of a combination of things I've learned through trial and error over the years, and also what people have told me or what I've seen just from scrolling social media. But I think when you approach someone with an agenda in mind, they can feel that energy of you're trying to sell them something, and people don't like that. People want to feel like you're just interested in getting to know them, and I think those kind of connections grow a lot more than if you're just trying to sell someone something. So I've stopped trying to do that. It just doesn't feel good.
I appreciate that, because in networking situations, when I go to conferences, I've been in my prior role in the position of selling. And you're right, it doesn't feel good. It's not fun when you're just kind of doing your elevator pitch. And I like that feeling of not having an agenda, and your general. Can you repeat those 3 points that you said that you keep in mind?
Don't have an agenda, focus on genuine connections, and be kind to everyone.
I like it. My strategy and in fact, I can really improve my networking, but I always used to think, I have this story about Brownies. When I went to this one conference, there was really good brownies out, and the way I ended up having genuine connections with people was mentioning how good those brownies were, and it just broke the ice. I always remember Brownies. Talk about the food, because everyone complains or is excited about the conference food. So,
yeah, compliments are a great tool as well.
Yes.
Like, did someone make those brownies?
It was a hotel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was probably just a lot of sugar.
So just a shared experience.
Yes.
That's good too.
So thinking about introversion and mindset shifts, can you tell me, you've got those 3 bullet points for how you approach networking. What are some ways to make it easier for people who aren't, and I hate to almost categorize people and say introverts, so I'll just say, make it easier for people who aren't as comfortable or experienced networking.
Yeah, you don't have to be a network or an introvert to take advantage of these tips and tools. But my number one helpful tip for sort of tricking your brain into making networking feel easy is to get involved with an organization. So say you're going to a conference, you could join the planning team, or you could volunteer at the check-in desk, things like that. You really get involved with a team. You meet people super organically, and it just feels like you're supposed to be there and be talking to people. So it's a lot easier to do that from my experience. I joined the Phoenix Design Week leadership team. I'm the communications director. I did that a few years ago. I'm still doing it now. I started doing it a few years ago. But yeah, so that has been a huge game changer for me with that conference specifically.
Yeah, I like that, getting yourself involved. I do that too, and maybe it's more naturally, but it definitely helps when you feel like you're there with purpose.
Yeah. You're not just some random person trying to talk to people. You're
Right.
part of the team.
Yeah, you are the team.
Yeah.
What are some other things you do to mentally prepare before you go to an event?
Something I've learned is that you can make it easier on yourself by arriving early to an event. If you're the first person there, it's a lot easier to talk to the next people who arrive than to interject yourself into a large group that's already having a conversation if you show up after. So that's helpful. Also, I have a phrase that I always come back to anytime I feel anxious or stressed, and it's that we are all on a floating rock hurling through space, and that's crazy. And it's just kind of a reminder that nothing that you're stressed about in this sort of situation is actually that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. So it kind of puts it into perspective and helps me feel a little easier, like it's a little easier.
I like that. I definitely, in my little introversion, extroversion state, when I go to conferences, the first day I'm always shy. And as I warm up, by the last day, you wouldn't even recognize me as the same person because I'm like high-fiving random people and having conversations. And I always have to remind myself to have that first awkward, what feels like for me, awkward conversation, because it breaks that ice and just makes things easier. And I remind myself, like, oh, you're hurling rock. Like, that wasn't so bad. This is not a big deal. I'll probably never see this person again. And
Yeah.
just keep leaning in to create those connections and feel comfortable.
Yeah, another thing is just knowing that people are more worried about themselves and they're not really thinking about anything cringy that you said. They're thinking about something that they said. So it's, yeah, another just mindset tip that it's not that big of a deal.
That's so true. It's not you. Oh, I like that. And we talked a little bit about this, like I don't know if it's a conversation opener, but my go-to trick is I always think about brownies. What are some other things that you found that worked well to get the conversation going?
Things that you could pay attention to are like whatever's going on at the event. Like maybe you saw someone ask a really interesting question during one of the sessions at a conference. You could compliment them on that. So in general, giving compliments is helpful. Asking relevant questions about whatever's going on or whatever that person is talking about is really helpful as well.
I like it. So you said you're part of the Phoenix Design Week board or leadership team.
Leadership team. Yeah.
Nice. So what are some of the things you've learned throughout those years of being a part of that organization, and where you found, I don't know, networking or just things you've learned being a part of that team?
Once you stop being afraid to talk to people, it's actually really easy.
It's not so bad.
It's really not so bad. So I get to know all of the speakers who come to Phoenix Design Week. Some of them come from all over the United States, which is really cool. And a lot of those people are super open to connecting with you on Instagram, LinkedIn. You could message them and they'll respond. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm working on some other side projects, and it's amazing. I always get surprised at how excited other people are to help, even when there's nothing in it for them. And then I think about myself too, when I've learned something or deep dive on something, I can't wait to explain. It's like, ask me. I know I want to help. There's all this knowledge I learned the hard way that I want to share. And I think people forget that. Like you yourself, it's like, oh, I want to help, but you're shy to ask others, even though they'll totally be there for you. What is one piece of advice that you'd give your younger self about networking?
I say practice putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. It's something I've been working on over the past 3 or 4 years, but if I had started doing that a lot earlier, I think I would be much more comfortable now. So, and also networking, it's a learned skill. Just like any professional at anything, you have to practice. Like a basketball player doesn't just wake up knowing how to play basketball, usually. Some people are natural at networking, but most people I don't think are. And the more you practice at it, the better you get and the easier it feels.
I agree. And I think people even when it comes to public speaking, there's this trope or these stereotypes like, oh, it's the most feared thing and everyone freaks out. And it's because we as a community of human beings don't practice. And whether it's networking or public speaking or whatever your technical things that you do when you practice, the first time it's really hard. Then it's a little easier. Then it's a little easier. And then before you know it, you've reached steady state.
Exactly. Before you know it, you're on a podcast.
You're on a podcast. Look at us with audio and video. Check out our YouTube. Oh, it's funny. So you mentioned that you have challenged yourself to put yourself out there more and just be uncomfortable. Do you have any funny stories to share? Any memorable moments where you've put yourself in a different situation and just had a memorable moment?
Probably the first improv class that I went to. It was a free class they have at the place I go. Shout out to Bridge Improv Theater, by the way. They're awesome. They have a free class, I think, once a month on a Saturday. So I convinced my husband to go with me, and he really didn't want to do that. But it was super fun and also terrifying. But I just knew that so much growth was going to come from that. So I signed up that day, and my husband was like, I really don't want to do this, but I don't want to be left out. So so he signed up with me, and we've been doing that for like 3 years now.
3 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so fun.
That is so cool. I've been tempted because I'm a big public speaking. I have the podcast and this platform and also Toastmasters and a bunch of other stuff. And I've always been tempted because improv is another skill in your public speaking toolkit. And I've always been tempted. So now I'm like, okay, I should go do the free class.
Yeah.
I'm cheap, so that will work for me.
If you go to the free class, at least at the time that I went, they give you a discount for signing up that day.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Deal.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anything else? Any other final thoughts on networking, communication? We talked about Toastmasters. Anything before we jump into my rapid fire questions?
Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Keep trying the hard thing. It will help you grow. And what is life if not to grow?
That's beautiful. Okay, are you ready for a rapid fire?
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay. What book, article, podcast, whatever you're reading or interacting with, what has inspired you recently?
It's not super recently, but I want to plug this book. It's called Sorry, I'm Late. I Didn't Want to Come by Jessica Pan. And it's actually the book that got me into improv because it's about an introvert who says yes to everything for a year. And one of the things she said yes to was taking improv classes. And it turns out that she loved it and kept doing it. So I was like, maybe I should try that.
Okay.
And then I did. And then it was fun.
Nice. I'm going to look that up because I have a stack of books on my nightstand that and I'm reading 2 or 3 things at a time. And it just ends up
This one's super humorous, so it holds the attention.
We are a communication and public speaking podcast. So what is your biggest public speaking pet peeve?
I'm going to say the thing that I think most people in Toastmasters would say, and I'm also guilty of this myself, and I'm learning to be better, but it's all the ums.
Yes, it's funny when you start because it's a thing that you can be successful and work on is listening and becoming aware of how other people are speaking, and the first thing you notice is the ahs and ums.
Yeah. I was counting my own. Well, I wasn't actually keeping track of it. I have many.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there's a naturalness. Natural? Oh gosh, that's a funny word. I think there's an organicness.
Yeah.
That's also not a word. When it comes to using ahs and ums, it's just when they're overused. Or my self pet peeve of vocal graffiti, as they say, I say gonna, kinda. I just have this too casual language sometimes, and I get so mad at myself. So that's fair. Ahs and ums.
I feel like casual language is okay though.
Yeah.
Not all the time, maybe, but
Thank you. But getting rid of them, it's funny. People not in the communication realm, if you speak without ahs and ums, people will notice that you're a better speaker, but they won't be able to understand why.
Yeah.
They'll be like, that person is really polished. Why? I have no idea. But it's so subtle. And
That's true.
more experienced public speakers such as ourselves will know, oh, they didn't say It was really clean in how they communicated, and they use pauses instead of the quick pick. What is your favorite way to collaborate? Email, in person, Slack, Gmail, Teams?
I use a combo of email and Zoom.
Nice. Email and Zoom. Do you get Zoom fatigue?
I don't do it often enough for it to be fatiguing.
Okay.
But yeah, I have clients all over the US, so in person isn't always feasible.
Nice. Okay, virtual. Nice. Yeah, I love, my favorite email tool is to schedule emails. For some reason, that is just so satisfying to me. To do an email in advance and schedule it and know at 8 a.m. on Monday, it's going to go out. And I love it. It's weird. It is. It's such a weird feeling that I love. Okay, what was your last major speaking gig, and what did you learn from it?
So earlier this month, I spoke at the FBLA National Leadership Conference. FBLA is the Future Business Leaders of America, so high school students and middle school students. And then before that was Phoenix Design Week Conference. And both of those was the topic of networking for introverts. So, but I think the biggest takeaway that I had personally was just like a confidence boost and knowing that I can do things like this. And I will say the second one was a lot easier than the first one. So I think continuing the reps and the practice is going to be huge.
It's inspiring to see you out there. I'm jealous. Next time you speak at the FBLA, let me know. I used to be,
nice.
I wasn't in it in high school, but I worked in a lot of different organizations that were connected with it. So, that's so cool. And I'm glad to hear, because last time we spoke, you had just done the Phoenix Design Week and not this one, to sort of feel that progression in yourself is awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the second one. Someone told me to apply to it because they thought my topic would be of interest. So I was like, yeah. I mean, I already have the breakout session pretty much done. I just need to tweak it for a different audience. And yeah, it was like a month later.
Nice.
So really cool.
Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah.
You're living it.
Trying to.
All right. What is one piece of advice you'd give to a new public speaker?
The audience wants you to succeed. Because when someone comes to watch someone speak, they're not hoping for a bad speech. So just know that they're on your side. And I think people are judging you less harshly than you're judging yourself. And then also box breathing.
Ooh, what's box breathing? Actually, I think I know, but tell us.
So it's when you breathe in for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, breathe out for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, and then just keep doing that over and over. And it really calms the nervous system down.
As a certified yoga instructor, I approve. It definitely brings you into that moment, takes you out of that anxiety brain. Any breathing exercise, really, but I really like that one. And my yoga instructor teacher brain is saying, but if you don't want to hold your breath, you don't have to. You can just relax. It depends on you. Yeah. But holding your breath is good too.
Yeah, I do yoga as well. And that's just knowing to pay attention to your breath has been huge for public speaking as well.
Perfect. Okay, before we close out, I want you, how can people, if they hear this podcast, want to get connected with your business services, or you're an official public speaker speaking on networking and introversion, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can fill out the contact form on my website. It's composion.design. And I'll spell that because it's a made up word. COMPOSION.design.
Perfect. And we'll put that on the podcast notes and everything so people can reach out to you. Well,
awesome.
Thank you for coming. That was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right.
Great first podcast.
This is the first podcast that I'm fully recording on my own, and it's been a success, hopefully, so far.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for tuning in. If you want to hear more, hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, we encourage you to speak Arizona.